How can you get hooked to something like that? Well,
You eat it.
it all starts during the production of gasoline. Byproducts are made, one being a chemical called
Benzene.
known for its use in many industrial things. Also known for being a carcinogen, meaning it causes cancer in humans. The benzene is then put through a chemical purple-placed conveyor belt undergoing 3 processes: sulfonation, nitration, and reduction. Basically, it gets made more reactive with added nitrogen groups that are then made into things called amines. Essentially, it's just prepared to become easier to work with. Finally, it is then put through 2 more actions. One being something called diazotization, which is when the amines are turned into salt by adding nitrous acid. Nitrous acid is known to be explosive and used as a bleaching agent. The second action is to then take the benzene amalgamation and combine it with another chemical called naphthalenic acid, which is also known to corrode equipment during the oil refining process. All result in its final form, Allura Red AC. Allura Red is used in almost everything man-made. It colors pills, printing ink, colored pencils, and even plastic cups. You might ask, who makes this stuff and maybe why? And I'll tell you, the leading manufacturer for Allura Red in the world is a US corporation called Sensient Technologies Corporation, or
STC.
This is what their website says. Sensient's innovative technologies create fresh, unique solutions tailored to meet the needs of today's educated consumer. Our name communicates what we do. Enhanced sensory experiences through specialized ingredients, delivered through proprietary technologies. Basically, they manufacture all the little colors and shapes to make our 8 minds buy things and get hooked. You might be thinking, how do you get hooked to plastic cups or colored pencils? Well, usually you don't. Remember, Allura Red derives from gasoline production, the thing that cars use to run and drive. How can you get hooked to something like that? Well,
You eat it.
the chemical we've been talking about, Allura Red, is also known as Red 40 or Red 40 Lake. Red 40 can be in any red-colored manufactured food, meaning anything unnatural and produced by a food company, and is locally banned in Europe. Here are the foods that have the most Red 40. Notice how they are all name brands. Even canned fruit and chewable vitamins can contain Red 40. Now, why is this an issue? I mean, we've all been eating it most of our lives and we're fine. It is a byproduct of gas production linked to a carcinogen and bleaching agent, but hasn't killed anybody and is approved by the FDA, so it's fine, right? Well, maybe. You might feel fine and just think it's food and whatever. Most food now is bad for you somehow and it's too expensive to get the good stuff anyway, so why bother? But here's what the studies say. A study published in The Lancet in 2007 suggested a link between the consumption of artificial food colors, including Red 40, and hyperactivity in children. The study found that eliminating these additives from diets of children with ADHD led to a significant reduction in the hyperactive behavior. According to the NCBI, Red 40 contains benzene, a substance that can cause cancer in humans and animals. The FDA allows this dye to be used in food at low levels, which are considered to be safe. However, the FDA's tests only measure for free benzene, not the bound form that is actually more common in these dyes. When these dyes are digested, intestinal enzymes can release bound benzene, potentially exposing us to much higher levels of carcinogens than the FDA's tests indicate. This is concerning, especially because children today are exposed to multiple dyes and flavoring agents daily. Nonprofit, the CSPI, also states Red 40, like some other food dyes, might contain small amounts of substances that could cause cancer. Studies in animals have shown mixed results, some suggesting it could lead to tumors. Additionally, Red 40 has been linked to hypersensitivity reactions and possible hyperactivity in children. Another study with the same results. These might just be one-off cases or very specific conditions and not very applicable to the general population. The everyday person like you and me aren't really affected by these things or don't really notice them all that much. It could be because the symptoms are more than just ADHD and cancer. According to the Cleveland Clinic, some side effects may be as follows: hyperactivity, including ADHD, behavioral changes like irritability and depression, allergic reaction, hives and asthma, sneezing, watery eyes, migraines, and even skin irritation, since it's also heavily used in makeup products like lipstick, meaning you could be feeling the effects of Red 40 but diagnose it as a dehydration issue or a slight sickness or something. But realistically, so what, right? If it tastes good, it's worth a headache here and there, and plus it doesn't happen to me enough to care about it. Why should it matter at all? Can't really avoid it, right? Sadly, you're probably right. It's in almost everything you eat and is also paired with other food chemicals that will fill its spot if it's not there. But I still think avoiding it is worth it, since it can affect your kids. Not just the kids today, but the kids yet to be born. In this final study by the NCBI, they say adult female rats were fed diets containing Red 40 for 2 weeks before breeding. The diets continued for the mothers throughout gestation, lactation, and for their offspring afterward. The rats were divided into groups that received 0, 2.5, 5%, or 10% Red 40 in their diets. The researchers found that Red 40 led to a significant reduction in reproductive success as well as the weight of the parents and their offspring, brain weight, survival rates, and the development of the female reproductive organ. Behaviorally, the rats exposed to Red 40 showed decreased running wheel activity. Overall, the study concluded that Red 40 caused both physical and behavioral toxicity in developing rats at doses of up to 10% of the diet. In simple terms, it affected the babies before they even took their first breath, and altered the rest of their lives from there. Now, of course, you could say,
"Hey, I'm not a rat."
and you'd be right, I think. But regardless, there's still evidence of some sort of reproductive and developmental harm. That should be enough to at least try to avoid Red 40 and other food dyes. The best way you can avoid this is by checking the ingredients and just not eating it, but I know that isn't as easy as it sounds. Luckily, there are apps like Trash Panda and Open Food Facts that will tell you what's in your food with just a scan. With some due diligence, you and whoever you feed can easily avoid these sneaky chemicals. Initially, this channel was for cheap scares and AI stories, but that got boring. So I decided to look into some real-life horrors, and this is one of them. So remember, the next time you want to try that new Dorito flavor or that cherry pie slushy extravaganza, check the ingredients list real quick, or your kids might end up looking like this. Also, if you have anything you want me to cover, just comment down below. Besides that, check these out.